It's a surprisingly complex film, very sort of layered. What for you is the sort of political message of the movie?
What was important to me, given that I thought that this movie was entering into the Apes universe from a new perspective, you know, from being from the point of view of the apes, and that it was the one time where we could sort of look at the moment where peace was possible. And this could have become Planet of the Humans and the Apes, but it doesn't. And the fact that it doesn't, and that looms there, is this kind of like dreadful pull in the movie. And I thought that in a way what it could be is an anatomy of violence. We know it's not going to work out, but why doesn't it work out? And that all becomes about not only the struggles between the species, or within the populations, but also within each of the characters. And that Caesar, as a character, is grappling with his own sense of violence and trying to master himself. And it's one of the struggles of the movie. He makes mistakes that contribute to the overall arc of the film and to the overall tragedy of the story. And that's really what it's about, is the ways in which, you know, I think what I wanted to do was approach the story through empathy, so that you could look at the different points of view and understand how all of the characters had arrived at their worldviews, these conflicting worldviews, but you could understand how they might feel that way and think, well, if I were in that situation, I might feel exactly the same, so that you could really look at and understand how these problems can exist and how we find ourselves time and time again descending into violence.
Does it reflect where we're at? It does a bit. It's certainly what's currently happening in the Middle East, and you know, I mean, you could make the comparisons. You know, I think it's timeless in that sense.
Matt Reeves has made a film which is completely unbiased. For a start, it doesn't come down on the side either of the apes or the human beings. These are two groups trying to survive. I think the message of the film, if you like, or one of the messages, is about empathy, is about prejudice, about the necessity to keep one's ears open and to listen and to try and find the harder, longer solution to escalating conflict rather than a knee-jerk reaction, despite the fact that your family might be threatened beyond any measure. The ultimate goal is to be able to see the other person's point of view.
If there was a message for me, my favorite part about it was being able to see into everyone's point of view. Even arguably one of the more fierce characters of the Koba, you understand where you see where he was coming from and what created him. And I think that's something that Matt did really well, is, you know,
well, he didn't want bad guys.
Yeah,
he didn't want a villain necessarily. That we're all sort of damaged by our past, and I'm certainly my character is certainly somewhat contaminated by the tragedy that he's been through.
Yeah.